We return now to our top story of ENCA Now, this bulletin. The anti-gang unit in Cape Town is calling for the removal of senior SAPS members. For more on the story, I'm joined on the line now by our reporter leading coverage on Cape gang violence this week, Leanne Jansen. Leanne, we know that you've seen this breaking news letter. What's the latest?
So in this letter by the anti-gang unit head, Andre Lincoln, he requests that 3 officers, Brigadier Khumalo, Colonel Clark and Colonel Ngubane, are removed from the anti-gang unit. They were supposedly placed there by Provincial Commissioner Kombinkosi Jula. So he's asking for their removal from the anti-gang unit following the operation that took place in Samora Machel this week, in which 5 anti-gang unit members were shot and wounded. 1 was injured, he twisted his knee. So 6 in all injured. 1 of them is still critical in hospital in the intensive care unit. Freddie Florence sustained a gunshot wound, a serious near-fatal gunshot wound to the head, 1 to the arm and 1 to the leg.
And Leanne, if we look at this letter, I know there's mention of absent dockets, but what are the reasons why this commander, this Major General, is asking for these 3 officials to be removed?
So some of the reasons mentioned in the letter is that no order was given for this operation to take place, that there were no specialized forces, no TRT officers included in this operation, and that the above-mentioned, the 3 officers who were present went on this operation without orders being given for this operation to be executed. It goes further to say that this incident resulted in a total breakdown in the trust between Major General Andre Lincoln, who's the head of the anti-gang unit, and these 3 officers, and that Colonel Ngubane planned and instructed members to participate in this tracing operation without informing Lincoln about the operation taking place.
That's quite an astounding thing to hear, that this operation may have occurred without proper notice being given. But Leanne, I want to move on to your ongoing coverage of these clashes in Cape Town and the Western Cape. We hear, for example, that communities need to work with police to try and clamp down on gangsterism. You're speaking to families in mourning. You're speaking to the families of officers who've been injured on the job. How do we move forward?
Well, you see, there's this call for communities to work together with the police, but it seems police are not working together with police. If this letter is anything to go by, it again speaks to the ongoing infighting and politics we're hearing about in the SAPS intelligence cluster. There are factions aligned to the head of detectives and head of the anti-gang unit, Andre Lincoln and Jeremy Vieri, and then another faction linked to Kombinkosi Jula, who's the provincial commissioner for the SAPS in the Western Cape. So if the police can't get their ducks in a row and speak to each other and sing from the same hymn book, how do we expect communities to work with police in a bid to quell the gang violence? So at the moment, it's a double-edged sword for communities and residents living in these gang-ravaged areas.
Leanne Jansen there, reporting on a breaking news letter coming through calling for the removal of 3 members of the Western Cape anti-gang unit of the SAPS. More on that from ENCA throughout the day.